Hey, stuffers! If the whole world is a sheet of ice, why did the Nazis bother bringing U-boats? Alex here, and welcome back to Stuff with Alex. We're diving into Antarctica, the frozen graveyard of rational thought, and I have to start with the most shocking update of 2024. Just a few months ago, a dedicated group of flat Earth believers, God bless their geometrically challenged hearts, spent 3 years preparing for an expedition called the Final Experiment. They funded the whole operation, flew to Union Glacier Camp in West Antarctica, and their entire goal was to prove the globe model wrong by observing the midnight sun. The midnight sun, if you don't know, is that natural phenomenon where the sun remains visible for 24 hours a day, a physical impossibility on a flat plane surrounded by a massive ice wall. They live-streamed the results for several days. The shocking detail? The flat earthers who participated in the expedition admitted the midnight sun was absolutely real, confirming the spherical shape of the planet. And in response, the broader community immediately rejected the findings of their own explorers, claiming the participants were paid off, bribed, or part of a deeper conspiracy to promote the spherical Earth model. So, a 4-day, 3-year in-the-making trip to the most remote place on Earth confirmed the existence of basic geometry. And in response, the internet said, "Nah, fam, you're part of the second layer of the conspiracy. They paid you off in marshmallows and aluminum foil." Welcome to Antarctica, the only place where seeing is explicitly not believing. This isn't just about ice. This is about the human need for a good story, even when reality throws a sub-zero bucket of water on it.
The entire genre of Antarctica as a secret begins not with aliens, but with defeated Germans. Specifically, the post-World War II rumor mill that focused intensely on Admiral Richard E. Byrd and his massive 1946-1947 mission known as Operation Highjump. Operation Highjump was massive by any measure. Admiral Byrd led an expedition comprising 4,700 U.S. Navy personnel, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft. Officially, this was a scientific, exploratory, and logistical endeavor. The stated goals included training personnel, testing cold weather gear, and expanding geographical knowledge of the continent. But 4,000 sailors and a battleship fleet just to check the temperature? That's like bringing a tank division to clear a clogged drain. It screams, "We are looking for something they can fight back." The conspiracy theory immediately took hold. Operation Highjump was a covert military endeavor to hunt down the final remnants of the Third Reich. The story goes that before the war ended, the Nazis established a secret high-tech base, often called Base 211 or Neuschwabenland. Allegedly, this base housed advanced weaponry, perhaps even flying disc technology, and Hitler's most valuable assets. The U.S. was purportedly trying to destroy this technological beachhead before it could launch a new phase of the war. The endurance of the Nazi base theory is less about historical fact and more a reflection of post-World War II psychological turmoil. The world had just witnessed unimaginable technological leaps: the atomic bomb, jet aircraft, and rocketry. When UFO sightings began dominating the news in the 1950s, the logical, terrifying conclusion for many was that if the Allies didn't invent this tech, the Axis must have. Antarctica, the only remaining blank geographical slate, became the perfect place to project this fear. The Nazi narrative thus became a vessel for transferring Cold War anxiety and paranoia onto the ice. The narrative escalated dramatically with the alleged discovery of Admiral Byrd's missing diary in later decades, which merged the Nazi fear with something far more fantastical: the hollow Earth theory. In the alleged diary, Byrd doesn't just find a Nazi base. He claims that while flying over the Arctic, though often conflated with his Antarctic missions, he discovered a huge opening leading into the Earth's interior. Inside was a warm, unknown land, complete with forests, mountains, and even prehistoric animals. Even more incredible, he claims he encountered highly advanced flying discs piloted by a superior, hidden civilization. This civilization, according to the diary, warned Byrd to convey a message to the surface world: change your warlike ways before it is too late, echoing the contemporary fear of global nuclear destruction. The Byrd diary story immediately links the historical Nazi search for advanced weaponry, potentially U-boat routes to the interior, to the subsequent UFO phenomenon. Whether the story is government disinformation or a genuine hoax, it serves a dramatic purpose, offering a grand explanation for sudden technological progress and the isolation of the continent. The mystery deepens because the diary claims specifically mention that the U.S. government sealed it away for fear of its haunting message. Drop your wildest theory in the comments. Was Operation Highjump really a search for Nazis, a diplomatic mission to the Hollow Earth, or just a really severe case of vitamin D deficiency? Stuffers, let me know.
If the first chapter dealt with 20th century paranoia, this one drags us back 5 centuries and then 10 million years into the past, all thanks to a piece of paper that supposedly breaks reality: the Piri-Reis map. The Piri-Reis map is a genuine historical artifact dating to 1513, drawn by the Ottoman Admiral Piri-Reis. It gained international attention when it was identified in 1929, partly because the admiral claimed to have used source maps from Christopher Columbus's voyages. Scholarly debate exists over what exactly the map depicts, but the real controversy starts when we look at the southern landmass. In the mid-20th century, a theory gained immense traction, suggesting the map depicts the coast of Antarctica and, crucially, depicts it free of ice. The hypothesis was popularized by Charles Hapgood, who argued that since no known 16th century explorer had mapped Antarctica, and since the features looked uncannily accurate, the map must have been sourced from an older, sophisticated civilization capable of accurate global surveying before the ice sheet formed. This hypothesis is incredibly appealing, suggesting a lost golden age, a real-life Atlantis, was destroyed by geological cataclysm. Hapgood, in his dating, mistakenly believed that Antarctica had been ice-free as recently as 4000 BC or 17,000 BC. This time frame would have placed the original mapping within the reach of known prehistoric human societies. The problem? Science disagrees profoundly. Current extensive ice core data definitively shows that Antarctica was last free of its massive ice sheet over 10 million years ago. The geological time frame required for the continent to be exposed makes mapping it impossible for any civilization that existed contemporaneously with humankind. To believe the Piri-Reis map shows an ice-free Antarctica, one must believe that a civilization existed 10 million years ago, accurately mapped the globe, and then somehow had their documentation survive until the Ottoman Empire found it in 1513. That's like using a napkin drawing from a Denny's to prove you saw Bigfoot driving a Tesla. Despite this overwhelming geological counter-evidence, the Piri-Reis theory persists, largely because it serves a profound psychological function: the desire for catastrophism. It offers proof that human civilization has been reset by a cataclysm, the Ice Age. This narrative is far more dramatic than the slow, linear progression of history taught in textbooks, reinforcing the idea that profound, world-altering secrets are deliberately withheld. The idea was readily seized upon and amplified by writers like Graham Hancock and Eric von Daniken, transforming Hapgood's academic misinterpretation into evidence for ancient astronauts or a technologically superior lost city. The narrative shifts from "governments are hiding stuff" to the more sweeping claim that modern science is willfully ignorant of a golden age. The longevity of the myth resides in its ability to provide a thrilling alternative past that confirms the grandest of possible conspiracies. In the modern era, you no longer need old Ottoman maps or secret Navy diaries to kick off a conspiracy theory. You just need a glitchy satellite photo and an algorithmic boost. Antarctica is so vast and remote that when people spot something vaguely unnatural on Google Earth, it goes instantly viral. The most famous visual claim involves the alleged Antarctic Pyramid. Viral images showcase a snow-covered mountain peak that appears unnervingly symmetrical, with sharp faces and right angles, resembling an Egyptian pyramid. Surely, only ancient alien engineers could have achieved such perfection in the most inhospitable place on Earth. The scientific reality is far more anticlimactic, yet still impressive. This structure is a type of mountain peak known as a nunatak, a peak that protrudes through the ice. Its seemingly perfect geometry is achieved through the long-term, relentless process of glacial erosion and freeze-thaw cycles over millions of years. As scientists explain, while rare, mountains naturally develop right angles and symmetrical faces when three sides erode at the same rate due to consistent freezing and thawing. I too wish ancient aliens had built the largest structure on Earth just to screw with geologists. But usually, if it looks like a pyramid, it's just a regular mountain that got really bored of being round and decided to hit the glaciated gym for a few million years. In a similar vein, the discovery of a 400-foot ice ship off the coast of Antarctica by the popular YouTube user MBB333 also sparked intense speculation. The object, when viewed in Google Earth's 3D mode, bore a resemblance to a snow-covered cruise liner, complete with what looked like chimneys and windows. Commenters immediately connected it to secret Nazi bases or transport for the global elite during a crisis. The scientific likelihood is that this is simply a massive, oddly shaped iceberg that is tipped over, exposing various layers, or a complicated structure formed by differential melting and water runoff. These formations are susceptible to pareidolia, the human tendency to see familiar patterns like ships or faces, in random or ambiguous visual data. The combination of the democratized access provided by Google Earth and the visual ambiguity of ice dynamics means that the algorithm instantly rewards sensational misinterpretation. The accessibility of the satellite data strips away the crucial context and scale needed for accurate interpretation, allowing the visual claim to override physical reality. Stufferts, smash that like button if you're already confused between glacial erosion and really committed nautical cosplay. While the pyramids and ships are easily explained, Antarctica does host phenomena that defies simple visual identification: the Wilkes Land gravity anomaly. This is not a visual conspiracy, it's a profound geological mystery. Hidden beneath the East Antarctic ice sheet is a massive circular structure that measures over 300 miles wide. Scientific analysis suggests it is most likely a giant impact crater, estimated to be around 250 million years old. Researchers believe this specific event may have been linked to the catastrophic end Permian mass extinction, which wiped out up to 90% of all marine and terrestrial life on Earth. The true scientific significance is staggering. This crater may have helped sunder Antarctica and Australia as the supercontinent Gondwana broke apart. Naturally, because it is large, perfectly round, and completely hidden, the conspiracy theories hold that the Wilkes Land anomaly is a giant underground UFO, an ancient subterranean city, or a portal leading directly to the hollow Earth. The enduring mystery is not what the structure is. Science has a compelling theory, but how people interpret a geological reality of mass extinction and continental shifts into a cheap science fiction trope. The conspiracy machine operates under the assumption that the government is hiding secrets that are more exciting than reality. The reality, however, is that the latest genuine scientific discoveries in Antarctica are far stranger, more consequential, and more astonishing than any fictional Nazi base or alien pyramid. One of the continent's most profound secrets is the existence of the Gamburtsev mountain range. This colossal mountain chain
is 1,200 kilometers, 750 miles long, and contains peaks reaching elevations of 3,400 meters, 11,200 feet, roughly equivalent to the European Alps. The staggering twist: this entire range is buried completely beneath up to 2 miles of solid ice in East Antarctica. These mountains were not formed recently. They arose over 500 million years ago during the ancient collision of tectonic plates that formed the supercontinent Gondwana. Later, they were resurrected, rejuvenated by deep tectonic rifting that warmed the crustal root and lifted the massif up. The East Antarctic ice sheet then grew from glaciers that merged and eventually buried the range about 35 million years ago. We can get samples from the moon, but we can't touch these mountains. That's right, space is easier to access than a mountain range right here on Earth. In 2024, scientists delivered another colossal discovery, confirming the existence of vast, hidden remains of ancient coastal plains and riverbeds buried beneath a 3,500-kilometer stretch of the East Antarctic ice sheet. These ancient river landscapes are thought to have been smoothed by large rivers over 80 million years ago, surviving remarkably intact beneath the ice for over 30 million years. This discovery, revealed through radar data, carries staggering global implications. These flat fluvial surfaces are not merely geological relics, they actively influence global climate stability. Researchers found that these surfaces slow down the movement of the ice above them, acting almost like a brake on fast-flowing glaciers. This understanding is absolutely critical for predicting the future of our planet. If East Antarctica's ice were to melt completely, global sea levels would rise up to 52 meters. Factoring these hidden landscapes into computer models can significantly refine projections of how Antarctica will respond to warming temperatures and prevent catastrophic future sea level rise. The most consequential secrets of the continent are existential, linking geological deep time to immediate future risk. Beyond the mountains and rivers, science has confirmed the existence of complex hidden ecosystems. Under the extreme pressures and darkness, scientists have estimated the presence of around 400 subglacial lakes trapped under miles of ice, potentially holding unique microbial life. Furthermore, deep-sea exploration beneath floating ice shelves, such as the Dotson Ice Shelf, has revealed thriving ecosystems in total darkness. Researchers using remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, found significant biomass and biodiversity, including large corals, sponges, ice fish, and giant sea spiders. They suspect they have discovered several new species. The great irony here is that scientific exploration, the very thing many conspiracists distrust, is revealing secrets with far greater global consequence than any alleged alien base. The most shocking discovery is Earth's own volatile past and the resilience of life, visible now through complex geological research and melting ice.
It is time for the reality check. After all the thrilling tales of UFO battles and ancient pyramids, why fundamentally is Antarctica still restricted? The conspiracy answer is simple: to hide the truth. The reasonable scientific answer is far more comprehensive. The single biggest reason for restricted access is the Antarctic Treaty system, signed in 1959. Conspiracists claim it is a cloak for military activity, but a look at its provisions suggests the opposite. The treaty stipulates that Antarctica should be used exclusively for peaceful purposes. Crucially, the treaty specifically prohibits military activities, such as the establishment of military bases or weapons testing. It also guarantees continued freedom for scientific research and promotes international cooperation, requiring the exchange of research plans and personnel. If world governments wanted to hide something truly world-shattering, They wouldn't use a treaty that requires them to publish their research plans and allows every single member country to send observers to inspect ships, stations, and equipment. That's the most aggressively transparent cover-up in history. The treaty's additional protocols prohibit nuclear explosions and mandate environmental protection, including forbidding all activities relating to mineral resources except scientific research. Beyond the legal framework, there are extremely practical reasons for limiting access, none of which involve extraterrestrials. Environmental protection. Antarctica possesses a delicate and unique ecosystem. Strict regulations are enforced to protect wildlife and flora that are unaccustomed to outside interference. The U.S. Antarctic Conservation Act makes it illegal to bring any non-native species into Antarctica, including poultry, domestic animals, or even seeds. It is also illegal to take or harm the wildlife. Governments aren't hiding a portal, they're hiding you from freezing to death and accidentally bringing in a houseplant that kills off 90% of the penguin population. Scientific integrity. The continent is designated as a scientific preserve. Strict access limits are essential to maintain the integrity of ongoing research and prevent contamination, especially regarding the subglacial lakes that hold isolated ecosystems. Safety and logistics. Antarctica is the land of extremes. Unpredictable weather, bone-chilling temperatures, and treacherous terrain pose significant environmental hazards. Emergency services are limited, making any large-scale, unregulated tourist or exploratory presence incredibly dangerous and logistically difficult. The final reasonable conclusion rests on the principle of parsimony, Occam's razor. When faced with two explanations, the simplest, most evidence-based one is usually correct. The failure of the conspiracy machine is that it refuses to accept this fact. The true weight of evidence supports the scientific and legal explanations. The mystery isn't what is hidden.
If the Nazi era showed us how paranoia can project onto geography, the modern age demonstrates how technology and algorithmic feedback can sustain the projection long after the evidence has melted away. The 2024 Flat Earth expedition failure highlighted the psychological depth of modern conspiracy belief. The core process here is known as the backfire effect. When people are presented with undeniable evidence contradicting a deeply held belief, their conviction often hardens instead of softening. The Flat Earth community's decision to reject the findings of their own explorers, accusing them of being compromised, demonstrates that for many, the conspiracy is no longer about the objective truth of the planet's shape. It is about the social community and identity defined by collective skepticism and distrust. It's the digital equivalent of spending 3 years arguing about pizza shapes, finally ordering a slice, and then accusing the delivery guy of being a deep state operative because the crust was circular. The integrity of the belief system has become more important than the integrity of the evidence. Adding fuel to this fire is the rise of sophisticated digital fabrication. The old Antarctic conspiracies relied on fuzzy, easily misinterpreted evidence, like blurry satellite images and secondary historical reports. The new frontier relies on hyper-realistic digital deception. In 2024, viral videos claiming to show an Antarctica portal to space or high-resolution images of alien tombs are widely circulated. Unlike the past, these claims are often based on advanced AI and deepfake technology designed specifically to deceive the eye. The inability of the general public to access or verify the desolate, restricted landscape of Antarctica makes it the perfect stage for AI-generated visual lies. If you can't verify the landscape, anything the algorithm serves up as visually convincing evidence becomes plausible. The danger isn't that the government is hiding aliens. The danger is that we are willingly replacing objective, factual reality
with algorithmically generated fantasy because it provides a more thrilling and, ultimately, more consumable narrative.
We've covered everything from Admiral Byrd's fictional trip to the hollow Earth to the real mountains taller than the Alps buried beneath the ice. We've seen that the most enduring mysteries are not found in the documents they burn, but in the parts of reality we refuse to look at. The true wonder of Antarctica is not the secrets we project onto it, but the overwhelming, beautiful, and dangerous reality of a continent holding enough frozen water to reshape the entire planet and whose deep history actively regulates our climate future. We are constantly being conformed to the world's loudest, flashiest narratives, whether they are historical rumors or shiny new deepfakes. But the path to reality and to wisdom isn't about rejecting everything. It's about renewing your mind, testing what you see, and learning to discern the true weight of evidence. We must ask ourselves if we are seeking truth or just seeking confirmation for the sensational story we wish was real. As a reminder that we need to keep our minds sharp and our intentions pure when chasing the things of this world, let me leave you with this thought. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Okay, thanks for watching. Peace out. Goodbye, guys.